Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mindcation. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see our fellow members here trying to flex on the screen.
Was me.
We recorded this a little bit later. We'll probably put these out on Mondays now, to be honest with y'all. They'll probably be the easiest way due to our new schedules, but you'll still get some episodes from us, hopefully.
Blame it on me. Blue collar guy. I have a job. Okay. Can't record on Thursday afternoons anymore.
You got a real big boy job.
Noah's not a student anymore.
Not a student anymore. I am now a laborer. So
Laborer.
Yeah, so Noah, update us on what you do now.
Yeah, I work for a residential siding company now. And it's not you never know, but it's not supposed to be a permanent type thing. But with the jobs that I want to work, kind of in a hiring freeze, that type of stuff. I'm just kind of trying to make money.
Yep.
But I don't hate the work, so I'm thinking about maybe going back to SEC at some point and getting a construction management major, maybe starting a contracting thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, fair.
Isaac, you look really perplexed when I said that.
Going back to school for you, I mean, like you were so excited to get out of the game, and now you're excited to get back in the game. Like,
well, I said eventually because I definitely need a break from school.
Yeah,
I was burnt out, but I had finally gotten it figured out. I wasn't sucking quite as much.
Well, I mean, SEC would probably be less bullshit. So
I was going to say easier. I was like, wow, you're going to just take a shot at SEC.
No, hey, no. Just less bullshit, It's got a straight shot.
But no, I feel like most people probably this way, but like when I was in school, for me, I was in school and like my major was all kind of secondary to basketball stuff. Like even now, like I want to work in like sports technology. And so it was like, it felt like most people are in school for their major and they're doing extracurricular stuff. I feel like my extracurricular stuff was the reason why I was there, and the school was just kind of the thing you have to put up with. So I feel like if doing something like my history classes I enjoyed because I actually enjoyed doing them, but other classes are where I struggled. And so if I'm doing something like construction management where I actually kind of enjoy that type of stuff and can see myself doing it, then I wouldn't have any issue with school.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
hating on my career as an academic.
Fuck no. I just knew, that like you, along with me and some of the other members of the group, don't like school that much sometimes, and so it's just
I don't necessarily not like school. I don't like how the education in the U.S. is set up.
No, you like learning,
I think
you don't like school.
The system. Right.
Yeah, I
exactly.
love learning and learning information that's
exactly.
And I think that's what Noah was,
yeah.
And I think that's what Noah was trying to get at, because he loved basketball and that's why he went to school. As far as like the edge, like, I mean, what he wanted to totally go into, he wasn't for sure, but now like you're kind of getting a real world experience and getting the outlook of like, this is what I like, this is what I want to do. So, and I mean, I was going to ask you, because you were put in an interesting situation with having to graduate this year to like, I'm sure, like, I mean, coming out of college already, trying to find like jobs and stuff like that's difficult enough. And now, even now with like unemployment rates and stuff like that and people getting laid off, like, I'm sure that like was super difficult for you to even like, where'd you even start looking for like did you have an idea when you graduated what you wanted to go into, or are you just like,
Not at all. No.
Yep.
So yes. So first I want to say, like, I don't want to put myself in the group of people that are really struggling right now, because like I'm blessed enough to be living at home and have a family that's able to support me right now. Up until now, I'm starting to make money. But so I wasn't ever really like super stressed out about it. I knew I kind of had a stable situation, so I don't want to put myself in that category of people that are really going through it right now. So yeah, coming out, like the plan was to try to work in sports video technology type stuff. Maybe potentially get back into coaching at some point. I just needed a break from, that's a business, it's a job, college basketball, NBA basketball. That's a 24 hours a day thing. And I was just kind of burnt out after 5 years. the job I was doing was really time consuming, and there wasn't a ton of reward, which going into it, but it just after a while you can get burn out. So I just needed a break. But and basically with that, everything is on hold right now because they don't know if there's going to be sports. So coming out of college like that, like I had basically had an interview set up, and everything just kind of got froze because they don't even know if there's going to be sports in the fall. And at that point, people are going to start losing their jobs, that type of stuff. So they're all on hiring freezes right now. And so then after that, I kind of transitioned to well, this pandemic, at least I think coronavirus is going to be around for a long time. I'm in the sense of like, I think it's just going to one day go away. I think it's something we're going to deal with for years. I don't think it's going to be pandemic status for a long time. But basically, I looked at it in the sense of I need something to do that I don't hate, where I can make money and, kind of get by until I can get into the career that I want to do. And so I have my cousin works is like a interior finisher. So he does like headboards, not headboards, like crown moldings, that type of stuff. He does like inside details, and I just asked him if he needed any help, and he said that he didn't need any help, but he would ask around, and so he knows a bunch of subcontractors. And then I got in with a guy that works in Lincoln. So yeah, I got pretty lucky. I didn't have to do any really super crazy job searches or anything like that. But so yeah, now I'm just kind of I can work with this guy as long as he needs it, and as long as I need to, and I like him, and so I'm gonna stick around as long as I can, as long as I need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot, but it's one of those things where it's like I'm learning. It's not like I'm like moving dirt around, like I'm learning like a skill, and like each house is different, and there's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. So I'm still like getting to learn stuff, and it's kind of a craft. So it's not like I'm brain dead out there. I enjoy doing it. It's just it's hot. It's about the only thing that sucks about it.
No, that's cool. Really coming across with that nice tan you got going on now, huh?
Yeah, the light's not doing it justice. I'm about as dark as Irv right now.
That's fair. You should take Isaac with you a little bit.
I'm in all these. I'm in all these nice neighborhoods. And I just take
this
the
is like a
shirt
yellow
off.
light, like not like the daylight. It's the yellow light, so it makes me look less tan than I actually am. So like it's just a thing. I've been outside once or twice in the past couple months.
I know you guys get to see each other more often than I get to see you guys, but I saw you last week, Isaac, and you were about as pale as it gets.
Hey, I'm not. Hey, the thighs are a little pasty, but the upper body and the forearms hanging out the window, man, those are getting real tan. Yeah, just come back next time and you'll see, bro.
Oh my god.
Basically, what I'm doing is because I'm working in nice neighborhoods in Lincoln right now. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm just out there waiting to find some older lady that just needs a trophy husband to hire. So I just do everything I can to buy candy out in the out in the neighborhood.
You gotta advertise yourself as much as you can. You never know.
You never know.
Sure.
Never know.
The whole career finding thing is something we could dive into, since I feel like we all kind of I'm in my last semester. You guys are Brock's in his last year. Isaac's still kind of, doing a lot of things that are going to try to set him up for his career. So kind of walk me through what you guys kind of thinking of as far as what you guys want to do after college, because we kind of talked about how, as far as the education system goes, as far as college goes, for some of us it really did not pertain much to what we wanted to do, or it completely switched as we've gone through college. So what are some of your guys' thoughts as far as kind of finding your career, finding your passion for what you want to do after college?
Before we go into that, I would be remiss if I didn't say something about Brock flaking on our bro day to watch the UFC fights last week. That's fine. We were all there except for Brock.
True.
But
I had an anatomy test that Sunday.
I didn't want to be the one that brought it up because I flaked out last time, so I couldn't bring it up.
I feel like that
What?
kind of.
But what's better to study anatomy than watching dudes just beat the shit out of each other? Like, you get to see blood, like, you get all that stuff. Like,
True.
It was like a pop quiz, you could point out what they're getting punched.
Hey,
Nah, that wasn't. We were doing the reproductive, the most boring.
hey,
Actually,
some dude
there were a
got
lot of
beat
nut
the
shots,
whole
bro. Like,
game. The whole match. Just kept
okay, so
getting
now we
smacked.
know why Brock couldn't be there. He was studying the reproductive system. Okay.
I see you.
Oh,
Okay. Little field experience. Okay.
Mad and
A
yeah.
marathon session going on.
Marathon.
oh. Oh, but the
Hey, well, that being
question.
said, I'm glad you didn't come study the reproductive system with us.
Yeah, exactly. I figured you guys wouldn't want to see that. No, but like going into the career wise, I kind of want to do similarly what I'm doing now, and that's just helping. I mean, what I do best and just what I try to do best is communicate to people and try to help people get closer to their goals. So stuff like personal training and things like that, and like educating people on like health and fitness, because I feel that's what I'm good at and that's what I enjoy to do. So somewhere there, where it exactly will bring me, I'm not for sure. I'm still doing some research, and where I want to be, I'm not for sure. But that's kind of what I'm going for.
Did you always want to go into exercise, or
Honestly, no. When I first started, I actually started at SEC at Isaac.
yeah,
And
for Isaac who was talking shit on SEC?
Hey.
Because
When Brock and I had our first shadow day, bro, I remember we talked.
Yep,
We talked
yep.
before Brock knew anybody there, bro. It's fine, but it's whatever.
and
And you still took shots at him.
When? I didn't take shots at nobody, bro. All I
And-
said was SEC, a little less bullshit.
yeah, I mean, SEC is definitely like a good like kind of transition, just because like I got out of high school not really knowing what I was gonna do.
Mhm.
I was looking into more of like the sports media side, so I was looking into going into business and then doing something like marketing. And then I slowly started to exercise. I slowly like gained some just like bro knowledge and would like help my friends and give them like some advice and stuff like that, and then found that I really started to enjoy that. And then I then went into nutrition, health, and exercise science, and just found a passion in personal training and stuff like that, and just helping people reach their goals. Because honestly, for me, like what I learned most from personal training is that like I get more excited when like my client does like 5 pounds more or an extra rep. Like that's super like exciting to me, and like wants me to get even better. And just always knowing that like the exercise field is so like there's so much to it that you can always continue to learn and read and stuff like that. And so that's why like I mean, going back to like the school comment I made, why I just think the school system's just not set up correctly, because they like the college system, you're paying for classes that don't retain to your necessarily degree at all, and like you don't take them serious. Like I know I don't take my ACE classes seriously at all. Me and Isaac took a theater class, and we would have to keep each other awake because we'd want to fall asleep. I'm not saying anything bad on theater. I'm just saying that's not my cup of tea by any means. But so yeah.
Well, like you said, in terms of retaining information, like you don't need to retain that information for what you want to do. So that's
Exactly.
full on memorization and just doing busy work.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac, before you go, I just because Brock, you like just when you said like SEC is a good option, and I think we there was a podcast like towards the start where we talked about kind of the issues we kind of have with the education system, but and just in talking with the guy that I'm working with now, I just think it like the push for university for every student is just kind of is super misleading, because at this point there's so many people that are coming out with degrees, and like the market's almost like oversaturated to the sense where it's like there aren't people that are willing to do other jobs, or not even willing, that are able to do other jobs. Like we're in the middle of a pandemic, and the company that I work for, like we have too much work right now. Like we have just houses lined up ready to be done. Like pandemic or not, like construction doesn't stop. You know, I don't think trade school is being pushed hard enough. Like pipe fitters and electricians, people like that make a lot of money, and it takes a lot of training. And it's like you don't go to university to do that. You go to a trade school, and then you do I don't know. It's like not an internship, but
An apprenticeship type of thing.
It's an apprenticeship.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's what I was looking for. I couldn't remember. Yeah, and then you make a lot of money doing it. And so I just think, so like right now, everyone's looking for jobs. People are, you know, spending thousands of dollars to go to university for a degree. Like for me, like I got a history degree and I enjoy history. I'm not going to use that. Like I got a degree to get a degree type thing. Like I was at, like I said, I was at university. I was at Nebraska because I wanted to do the basketball stuff. And then, you know, fast forward 5 years and like, it's still my passion and I learned a lot from it. Like I wouldn't be where I was today without it. But it's like, I could see myself doing something else. And so it's like, what, you know, financially, what was that 5 years worth it for me? Would it have been better for me to have gone to a trade school and done, you know, gotten a head start on maybe starting a career as a contractor or doing, you know, something like that. Cause I know I won't be happy sitting at a desk doing, you know, like just doing a job that I don't like. Like I would rather be outside building something because at least I have a little bit of self-fulfillment type stuff. So I just think that push for university education, it shouldn't be so universal. You know, everyone is like, go to college, go to college, go to college. It's not for everyone. Go in the military if you want to go to trade school, that type of stuff.
Well, like going back, like, so two of my old roommates that I used to live with, they both went to SEC for a trade school. One an electrician and one more in like technology and stuff like that. And like I'd ask them, you know, how their classes are going and stuff like that. And the cool thing that I found with like them is that they were actually doing like the work that they would be doing, and they'd be getting better and they'd be getting experience. Where like for going to a university, I mean, like necessarily like the classes we take, some of them retain and we're going to use them, but a lot of them, like I know for at least like me and Isaac's standpoint, because I'm pretty sure we're both going into the exercise field more or less. We had to put ourselves out there in order to get experience. And I know Isaac did the Husker Power program. And then for me, it was just becoming like a certified personal trainer and personal training and stuff like that. The classes that I took up to really this point were a lot more nutrition based. And so I'm just like, and it's interesting and cool, but that's not what I want to go into. And so like Noah said, I'm spending all this money and like I've had talks with Irvin about this. Like, it's just like, bro, like I feel like I want to do more, but I can't because I'm getting bogged down with all this schoolwork that I have to sit here and just do. But
yeah, and even with that, like those nutrition classes, like in a sense, directly apply to what you do anyway, because you're not gonna be able to be a personal trainer and really know what you're doing unless you can advise on fitness. But it's like, why do you guys need O chemistry?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I understand why, like they're trying to give you a solid base in the sciences, but it's like, does organic chemistry directly apply to anything that you're going to do? Outside of like knowing the basic mechanics of like the nutritionist, you know, now you're knowing the molecular mechanics of the nutrition stuff, but it's like you really don't need that. Like for me, like as a history major, like my capstone, I had to write a big research paper and had to like go to the archives and do stuff like that. So like I learned how to research, but like that's like the only history class where I really like was forced to apply skills that you would use in that field. Other than that, you're just kind of, you know, learning about history, which I enjoy doing. I don't have a problem with that. But it's like, unless you're planning on being like a historical researcher or a professor, that type of stuff, like there weren't very many skills that were directly applied. Like I'm a good writer. I learned how to be a good writer because of it. But other than that, like.
You learned some trivia so you could kick Isaac's ass in history trivia.
Yeah.
But I think to kind of piggyback on your topic, like I think one of the things that would help the most, especially within like the strength conditioning or personal training field, is instead of having all those like unnecessary science courses that you're never going to use, or any of the like the other ACE classes. Like there's a extreme underabundance of like psychology courses or like
Mm-hmm.
coaching courses that get you to better ready yourself for like real, I don't know, client to client or like
Oh
coach
yeah.
to client like interactions, because I feel like that's one of the things that a lot of new and up and coming personal trainers is being coaches have a lot of struggles with and haven't been exposed to, because it's all experience, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
like nobody teaches you how to be able to handle clients well, or if they have a problem, like how do you communicate to them that everything's going to be okay and that you're going to help them with everything that you have available without like, I don't know, miscommunicating things. And like there's just such a underappreciation for that portion of the field, and like getting people to buy into your program. Like if you have an athlete that's not motivated in the program and doesn't want to do what you want to do, and like just won't put forth the effort, like how do you deal with that? Like nobody
Mm-hmm.
teaches you how to deal with that, you know. And it's through your own repetition. If you don't want it, you're not going to get it, you know.
Well,
So
yeah.
I think that's one of the things that would be, especially for the fucking college program that has the first strength and conditioning coach. Like you would think that they would have a
Yep.
more solid program for that, but it's just not there. And I think that's
Well,
pretty
and
sad.
I don't think that that's a knock on Nebraska's program. I think that's everywhere. You know what I mean?
Everywhere
Like
for sure.
I don't
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and so like, and this is just kind of like going off of what you said, like the psychology part of it. And this is kind of this is a, you know, a shameless plug, but so along with the siding stuff, I'm working with a basketball skill development program called Skilled Hoops, run by Jordan Hitchcock, who was a manager before me, and he was a graduate manager when I was there my freshman year. And now, you know, he's done some coaching. He did some college coaching, and now he's the head coach at Columbus High School. But so yeah, we have like clients that are doing personal basketball stuff, and so you know, personal training. And so each week we have one workout, and then outside of that, we design programs where they get 5 workouts a week total. So they get one with us, and then we have 4 that we give them go home to work on. But outside of the basketball stuff, like the thing with Jordan that separates him from a lot of basketball training people, is that he emphasizes the mental and the psychological part of it too. Like each session starts with a lesson outside of the basketball court. So like a lot of it comes down to like mindset and confidence. Like we talk, like our whole principle is having a growth mindset. You know, I think everyone, the way I look at it is there's kind of like success in my mind can be quantified, and you can quantify in 2 different ways. You have people that look at success as like a results-based success, like I scored 30 points, like that's results, that's success. And then you have growth-based success, which is, you know, my jump shot coming in here was not technically sound. It did not look good. And from week 1 to week 4, I've changed mechanics, and it looks better. It's getting better. My jump shot it might be, you know, at the start with anything, if you're changing a habit or a skill, it's probably going to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back in terms of the results that you see, right? Like if you shot a ball, like Isaac never talk shit about you, but like the way you shoot a basketball, right?
Yeah.
Like your whole life, the little bit of basketball you've played, if we took 5 weeks to try and change your jump shot to do it correctly, like your shot is going to be worse to start, right?
Mhm.
And it's going to get worse, and then it's going to get incrementally better over time. And although you might not see it go in the rim as many times at the start, that change is that growth, you know, that growth-based success. And like you were saying, it all comes down to experience. Like all the coaching that I'm doing, I didn't learn in a classroom. Like I view myself as a good like skill development coach because I've done it since I was a freshman in high school. I've been running workouts and running camps and learning how to deal with different people and how to coach, and pulling from my own experiences, knowing that certain stuff doesn't work with certain people. And so, like you said, I just think there isn't any of that functional training going on in college where you're not being taught hands-on stuff in terms of how to deal with people. Like you don't learn how to, like they try and do group projects in college to get you to learn how to deal with people, and that, you know, like No, like that
I hate
doesn't
group
work.
projects.
You don't talk at all, and then it gets to be 3 days before the project, and it's like, hey, are you going to do your part? And they're like, yeah, I'll do it right now. And then it's like there is. You just struck a chord. I totally agree with the fact that there is no very minimal functional training, real life training that goes on in college with
Exactly.
anything. I mean, like even Irv, like I know right now you're focused. You're building your media company, and that's something you're really passionate about, and you want to make a career out of that. And it's like out of school, have you gained anything that outside of maybe some like technical skills, which I think you've probably just developed mainly yourself, when it comes to like producing stuff like this? Like, have you gained a functional skill or knowledge that's going to help you towards that through college?
No.
Through the classes, I mean, like your experience in college, obviously.
Yeah. As far as classes goes, no. I mean, they piqued my interest, right? Like they kind of got me thinking in the right way, and kind of made me be like, oh, this might be something I want to do, or this isn't something I want to do. And kind of, with me doing the whole feel good project last summer, right? This is the time where I was doing it. That was because of my classes, right? But as far as content goes, like what I was talking about, but as far as how to build a brand, how to put a podcast together, how to put videos together, edit them, the way I wanted to communicate that, like all that, like, no, none of that came from the classroom, right? You had to do presentations in classes, right? So that's probably the closest I guess experience that you get as far as doing something like this, right? Just presenting in front of people in general. But outside of that, no. I mean, I guess I learned how to fact check what I'm talking about and researching things, but anything other than that, probably not.
Which is just weird to me. It just university is being pushed on everybody, and we're not, and obviously it's not. It's weird because it's a cookie cutter system that's made for that individuals are going through. So it's like not, like if you're going into sales or marketing or business, like you need to go to college, like you need to learn the stuff that you're gonna, But there are just certain things where it's like it's not for everybody, and it's being pushed on to everybody.
It's designed for those positions, like going to medical school, right? Like you have to go to college, you have to learn that type of skill through college. Like you said, like law school type of things. Like if you want to go to law school, you have to go to college. But even then, like for law school, it doesn't require like a criminal justice major, right? Like law schools always say, just get a major in whatever you're passionate about, right? So it's like, well, what does that mean? Like,
yeah,
right.
I just want to go to law school.
Like a ton of history. A ton of history majors end up going to law school because it's a lot of the same skills. It's just a lot of reading and writing, but and that type of stuff. So then how do you go about fixing that in terms of just like when Isaac was talking about how there, you weren't getting those courses that are applying directly to like even what you want to do. So should we go about crashing the ACE system and building like more distinct paths where it's like you guys are exercise and health science, and that's just such an umbrella thing. Like, should there be like, yes, that's your major, and then should there be more subgroups in that group where it's like, I'm exercise and health science, and I have a focus on strength and conditioning coaching.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then that way you're taking classes that are directly applying to what, you know what I mean? Because there's so many in any major group like that, there's going to be subgroups upon subgroups. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So how do we go about changing that?
I mean, I think it's something like that. And then going back to like the trade thing, I think we have to somehow make trades more acceptable and more apparent. I mean, because I know like some European countries and stuff like that, they do, you graduate high school and then you just go into an internship of what you want to do. Now, granted, there's other things that go into that and stuff like that. but I think that's a much better way than spending, for a lot of people, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars on school, maybe not quite hundreds, but for some it is. And
When you
just
factor in interest on loans and stuff like that,
wait, what?
when you factor in interest in paying
Yeah.
back loans, long run, it starts pushing those type of numbers.
Exactly. And
Well,
so like,
you know.
yep, you can go, Isaac.
Yeah, and that's like what kind of like, to add to your point, like that's what kind of made me fall in love with coaching, is like watching somebody else coach. Somebody else who truthfully loved it, and it was just like, wow, like he's literally making all those people so happy and like improving them in literally almost every aspect of their life in this moment. And so I was like, why would I not want to do that? And it was like I was already semi interested, and that just stamped it in after having doing the internship. And so I think even just getting the real world experience of whatever field people are interested in just adds a whole another level of cake to the perspective on what they want to go into and spend literally the rest of their lives most likely doing.
I will say, like with ACE courses, I agree that it's such a wide variety of things that you had to try that you're required to take, right? I say for me at least, my ACE courses were some of my favorite classes because as far as the way I think and the things that exposed me to, it was a lot more things that I would have chosen to expose myself to, which I appreciate.
Which you would not have chosen to, or you would have?
Well, I wouldn't have.
Okay.
So, and I get that that's the point of ACE courses, right? Is to expose you to those 9 different things, because ACE 10 is always our capstone, so that one doesn't really count. But ACE 1 through 9 are to expose you to things, especially for those that are coming as undecided, right? To try to see if there's an avenue that you want to go into. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely a better way to do it, but I don't know what that better way is.
Right.
So does it come down to like maybe freshman year for everybody is just ACE courses, regardless of changing your credit requirements, because obviously, like if you want to go to med school, like you're going to get a head start your freshman year towards those credits, right? So if you change credit requirements for what is required to get a degree or something, and make freshman year all about ACE courses, because there are people that come into, like I came into college like knowing I wanted to do athletic training, and ended up changing just because I couldn't do that and the basketball stuff. But like I thought I knew what I wanted to do, and people come into college and change all the time. So if you're going to require those ACE courses as kind of like an exploration thing, like you were saying, Herb, to kind of expose you to things and kind of get you to think about what you want to do, why not get that out of the way at the start and be like, all right, let's see, like you want to do this, but let's see if there are other things, you might find something else. Rather than hamstring everybody for 4 years taking classes that they don't have to take, but are taking them, they don't need to take them, or having to take them because they're required.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not an answer, obviously.
Oh no,
we're not.
Right.
It's a giant, like, I mean, yeah, that's it. I mean, I like don't like it, but at the same time, I can't like complain about it so much because there's so much there, and there's so much that you would have to change, that to go about that does take a lot of work. But I definitely think you need to look into that, because like, I mean, more and more people are going to school, which is great. But then like Noah said, it's starting to oversaturate the market, and then certain, career paths aren't being filled while the market's still oversaturated. Like just stuff like that. I mean, to try to make our society somewhat, just better and stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, and I think it comes down to changing the dialogue in our society too, because like manual laborers are looked down upon a lot of times in sense of like, oh, you don't go to school so you don't have to do that job. It's like, well, go to a construction site and tell me how many nice ass trucks you see driving around.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna see a lot
Mhm.
because there's a shitload of money in it. There's this miscommunication. There's this misbelief, I guess, misunderstanding that because you are working, you're doing a manual labor job. Or if I have to leave real quick, that you're not going to make money, and that's just not the case.
He's
You know,
gotta
like I said
get a
earlier,
catheter real quick.
like I said earlier, like a pandemic doesn't stop construction. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's money to be made, and just if we change that dialogue that working construction is something you want to go to school so you don't do that type of work. Well, you like doing that type of work, you can make a lot of money doing it and enjoy doing it. So,
well, that's
and
like,
on that note, I'm really appreciating the sighting view I'm getting in Brock's. You know, I can.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
I see. You know, yeah. You got your J channel there on the left for the corner. You know, you got. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean those trades, like, I mean, I know both of my roommates went into trades, and I was like, that's, I mean, super cool. And then, like you said, it does make a lot of money because there's so much work to be done. And then you look at it, like, look at all the jobs and all the, you know, unemployment that happened. What was one job that didn't? What was one job that was, they were, what did they call it? Where they had to work. They were, where they could go in office, essential workers. All construction was essential workers. And so it's just like, that's one of those jobs that isn't going to go away, but it's so looked down upon.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just because it is a trade. But
yeah, and there's just that belief that, oh, go to college so you don't have to do one of those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like someone has to do them, and it pays. Like,
glad we're all on the same page.
Isaac?
What?
Nothing. You just had a perplexed look on your face.
Oh no, no. We're all good.
This just in: Isaac hates on blue collar workers.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I've been working. Holy shit.
All right. Yeah, I don't have a good transition to get out of that conversation.
That was a big segment. Other than just like, I mean, we did talk about like exercise and like, I guess how like we kind of went through school, and so like relating it to exercise, and like how sometimes we get in like ruts and stuff like that. I guess I would transition to like, how do we get out of those? That was an attempt. Everybody tried my best.
That's fair. No, I brought this up earlier because going into our fitness discussions that we like to do sometimes, you know, I'd recently just been struggling a lot to find a purpose in lifting, right? I feel like I just got so unmotivated because of how far behind I had fallen and stuff. And just kind of, I talked myself out of it, basically, there for a while. And what I did to kind of counterbalance, basically, I didn't lift the whole week. I was just lazy. I ate however I wanted and was hoping that in that process, I would get so sick of it that it's just like, no, I had to go do something. And it worked. You know, I feel like I just still had it in my system to just not want to do anything, and going back to lifting, especially with the way our work is set up, that you have to work for 4 hours and then having to work either after the shift, so spending another 2 hours in the gym, or before the shift, right? So just spending a lot of time at the rec that I didn't want to have to spend at the rec, or just having to revolve my lifting around those specific times are just kind of wearing me down. And I was just like, I just don't like this. So I kind of took a week to kind of reset and reevaluate why I wanted to lift, and why like that's still important to me. And then I came back to the conclusion that lifting for me is not about lifting. Like lifting weights is not about what numbers I get. Like I could care less what numbers I get. It's all about overcoming adversity, right? Just training yourself to push yourself mentally. Like how I used to when I was the most motivated, when I got the most done in the weight room was when I would go in and say, today I'm lifting to be a better dad someday, to be a better husband someday, to be a better son, to be a better whatever um, profession I want to go into, right? Or whatever I had in my mind at that time. Um, so then I just kind of try to get back to that and try to just get back to that mindset and kind of reignite that fire. And I think it worked. I think I had to dig through a lot of things, but I think I'm in a better place going into this upcoming week, which I'm excited for. But I think we all kind of face those ruts, right? Where we're like, I just get tired of the grind or just kind of lose track of what the purpose of what you're doing is, what it's for. So I just kind of want to share that with you guys and see what, if any specific ruts that you guys have had recently or any personal stories that you want to share about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I fall into that shit all the time because especially all my goddamn competitions keep getting canceled like a bitch, you know, and then so I mean it's been training for the competition and then the competition gets canceled and then oh look, this next competition's super cool. It's in Florida. You know where I haven't been in like a long ass time, Florida. But then that ends up getting canceled and then they announce that there are not going to be any meets from now until the rest of the year into the fall. So won't be competing this whole year. The last meet that I competed in was in December, and that wasn't even like a full blown meet. That was just for me to qualify for the meets that got canceled this year. So I only hit the qualifying total. I didn't actually go all out. But I mean, like the last max out session I had in the gym was pretty successful. So I mean, kind of redial back in and try to train for some date where I can max out again because that's what keeps me lifting and that's what keeps me excited in my own lifting journey is being able to reach new heights and stuff. So yeah, but I mean powerlifting is pretty fucking boring after you do it for a while, you know. It's like it's 3 lifts that you train relentlessly, you know, and it's just like always trying to perfect your craft, which brings its own kind of challenge and keeps you interested because there's always new stuff that comes out and always new information that you can read up on and stuff, especially if you're a nerd about it like me. So, yeah, I don't know, trying to keep focused, but I mean, yeah, if I didn't have the deload weeks for sure, I would have to take some time off because it's like, I don't know, it does get really boring sometimes and it's really hard for me to be able to be at the level at mentally that I need to be at to be able to lift the weights that I need to every single day I go to the gym. To be able to bring that mentality 4 days a week, typically at like 5:30 in the morning. But that's when I like to do it, you know. And I think if I'm able to get to a spot where I can bring it every single day at that time, then it's not gonna hold me back from anything. No adversity can hit me from that because then it's like, you know, I've already gotten to the worst part of it. So, yep. But yeah, just overcoming that with
Yeah.
time.
So
Yeah.
for me, Irv, like I'm coming, like I'm on. I would say I'm on like the back end of one of those ruts right now. Just in like this is I think I'll be coming up on like my fifth week starting working this job, and so like I'm at the work site at 7, and I'm working in Lincoln but living in Seward, so I'm having to get up at like 5:30. So I don't really have an option unless I'm getting up like Jocko at 4 to lift in the morning
Every guy
and
though.
then go work outside all day. And then also I'm running those workouts as well. So I think usually 3 or 4 days of the week I have basketball workouts that I'm running after work. So like a lot of it for me was, I'd be working from 7 until 4 and then going and running back at basketball workouts until 6. At that point I just was tired. I didn't want to, it's like I need to go be asleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock so I can get up and have energy for the next day.
Whoop.
So like if I go home and lift, like I'm lucky enough to lift at home right now, like I have 1 hour of the day maybe where I can do what I want to do and then go to sleep. So a lot of it was just kind of choosing not to do it because I didn't really have that energy. And then I just kind of came to the realization it's like I started seriously work. You know, I lifted through high school, but didn't really take it seriously. I started seriously lifting, you know, towards the end of freshman year because I just got sick of like how I looked. I wasn't happy with how I looked. I was skinny, but I had like love handles and fat on on my torso. So I started lifting, change how I looked, and be more confident in myself. And so, you know, for like the last 5 years, I've done that. And then I just kind of had a realization: it's like if I don't keep doing that, I'm gonna sweat away 5 years of working outside every day if I don't keep working out. Especially because like a lot of times, you know, we're just grabbing food wherever we're at out there. So like I'm the best right now. So if I'm not working out, all I'm doing is sweating water out every day and eating like shit and not working out and not supplying myself with the stuff that I need to stay fit. So it just kind of came down to it's like, do you want to have wasted the last 5 years just because you're tired or you don't really want to work out right now? I think it's easier for people like us and people that are more advanced than us that have been working out for a while and that have seen changes and seen gains and the ups and downs to kind of be like this stuff works, like we've seen the results. So you don't want to lose that, and you know that there are ups and downs. There are weeks where you don't want to lift. There are weeks where all you want to do is work out and you're in there forever. I think for people that are kind of new to it, those ruts are harder. Like if you're really overweight and you're losing, you know, a lot of times with overweight you lose a good amount of weight fast and it slows down, and that can kind of kill your motivation. And for people like that, I think it's kind of harder to kind of recenter yourself and refocus yourself. But for me, it's just kind of looking at it's like I grinded hard for 4 years where I lifted probably 5-6 days a week. And I just don't want to see that just go away. I don't want to go back to being the person I was before where I didn't like, if I saw hunger, I didn't like myself as a person. So I can attribute a lot of the success, like physically and mentally, I've had in the last 5 years, the growth just to the mindset it takes to go work out and that type of stuff. So yeah, a lot of it comes down to me just not wanting to go back, not wanting to lose the progress that I made. Rock, you breached the question.
So for me, I think like I was kind of the same as Irv. Is like I started looking too much at the numbers, and for me, like I always used to train kind of randomly. I'd go through different like microcycles of just random training, from high intensity to more strength to more hypertrophy. And I stopped doing that and kind of got more into like the powerlifting like kind of regime of just centering it around squat, bench, and deadlift. And that's just not my training style. And so for me, it was just I just had to realize that and then just have to switch it up, because I train necessarily to kind of learn my limits, but then also as teach me certain things as a personal trainer, like certain exercises, to how to set up a certain exercise, to where like I'll set up like an exercise program for myself, try it out. If I don't like it, I would never use it for a client. If I do like it, I can consider it. So I train more or less to, one, just help myself and take myself out of like certain situations, and then also two, to also help me become a better trainer and stuff like that. So yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
Ruts are hard. It's because everyone goes through, different things, and everyone has different cycles that they go through. I just think the hardest part is just like realizing, okay, I'm in a rut, like nothing's moving right now, nothing feels right. What can I do that's productive to help me get back in this place? And that's different for everyone. So like you just have to figure out, sometimes you're going to fail, sometimes it's not going to work. But then once you do find that place to where it does work, you can hop back on. And I mean, that's why like I do love like working out so much, because it's like that's if you're training every single day and every single month and every single year and never reaching failure, you're doing something wrong, because it's like you're not pushing yourself hard enough in order to get that adaptation or get that change in your body.
Mhm.
So I mean, and when you do push yourself that hard, you're gonna get, you know, mentally, physically just drained. And that's, I mean, life. But like that's, you know, what compares the strong from the weak is that, hey, if you're gonna hit something, and then yeah, you're gonna take some time, but you're gonna figure out and then get back up and just get back on your grind. And I mean, that's the most important thing, is just figuring out, okay, what can I do to get myself out of this?
Yep.
Yeah, and just kind of going back to just like a lot of the principles that you said, a lot of principles we use for that, for skilled hoops basketball that we run. You said that, a failure, if you're not failing, then you're not pushing yourself. We look at it, say like a diagram, and in the middle you just have a circle, and it's green, and you call that your comfort zone. That's the comfort zone, right? Everything is easy there. You know exactly what you're doing. You're not stressed at all, right? Outside of that, it's just a broader circle. It's called, stretch zone. Picture that being yellow. That's where you're outside your comfort zone. You're not overloaded. There's not too much going on. It's not too much of a stretch, but you're making mistakes. You're pushing yourself. You're not comfortable. And then outside that, you have the panic zone, where it's just too much. You're doing too much outside your comfort zone to where you're really not even benefiting from it. So like, I look at mistakes. If a kid's working on ball handling, he's doing something he's not done before, but he's going at it at a good pace and with good speed, good intensity, and he's making mistakes. Like, those mistakes are good. Those are a good thing. It means you're pushing yourself. You're doing something you're not comfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable is what I like to say. And so, yeah, it's just understanding that failure and like questioning yourself, like, everyone goes through it. Like, if all four of us are in the gym and one of us is in a rut, like when we're actually in the gym, I wouldn't be able to look at Herb and be like, oh, he's in a rut right now, right? So if you go to the gym and you look at, that guy at the end of the gym that's just massive and he's always in there throwing weight around, and you're like, well, that guy is never in a rut. Like, that guy's always in here killing shit. It's like, no, you don't see that he's in a rut. Maybe he didn't want to be there at all today. So it's like, don't get in the mindset where you're the only one that goes through, because you're not. Like, everyone goes through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so just understanding, it's like, even the best of the best, they go through the same stuff. So it's like, comparison is the thief of joy, is the saying, where it's like, don't stop comparing yourself to other people. You guys, everyone goes through it. Everyone goes through, through shitty times. Everyone goes through patches where they don't want to be doing what they're doing. Compare yourself to yourself and just keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's going back to, how Isaac was talking about how much psychology plays a factor, and just coaching and just everything general. I mean, your mental state plays such a huge role in just your life and just how you control things. Because like, I mean, the biggest like thing for a lot of people is like, they hope things happen, and like you have to make that happen at the end of the day, if that's what you want, and you just have to go and get it and just keep on working towards it. You can't go easy on yourself, or you can't, like, yeah, there'll be times where you're like down in the dumps and stuff, but it's just like being able to get out of that is the most important thing, I feel like.
Yep. Agreed.
For sure. This was quite the insightful episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I liked it.
We'll probably call it there. I think we've hit enough, heavy subjects. We kind of delved deeper into these two things than we normally do onto a lot of things. So, I think people are probably like, wow, I didn't know these guys could talk this deep. So,
Yeah.
want to quit while we're ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we get a little too crazy.
Exactly. We'll save that for later. So thank you for everyone that stayed this far, for listening. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button, whichever one it is on those. And then, as well as if you're watching this on YouTube, hit us with the subscribe button, hit that like button, leave us comments at Mindcation19 on Instagram and the Facebook as well. Feel free to leave us comments on there of things that you got out of this podcast or things you want to hear us talk about. Other than that, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Anybody have any parting words for the people before we let them go?
Peace and
Share,
love.
subscribe. Have a wonderful week.
Yep.
If you're in a rut, figure out what that rut is and get out of it.
Just
Mm-hmm.
do it.
Exactly. So hope you guys have a good week. Expect these episodes now on Mondays, I think, for the foreseeable future. And then, yeah, hopefully more content on the Instagram page as well going forward. So we'll see how that goes. So have a good week, and we'll see you guys again next Monday.